Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bloomerangas podcast. I'm very excited to introduce you today to Martin Naumann, who is a multidisciplinary digital artist based in Germany. And he specializes in generative and procedural illustration, which is futuristic and very experimental in aesthetic. Known for client work, working with Adobe, Universal Music, and a lot of other interesting clients like Star Wars. He has really carved out a very interesting style, and one of his works is included in our Style Guides Volume 2. So I'm very excited to have Martin with us today. Welcome, Martin.
Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, my first question is really about how did it all start? How did you find this unique style that you currently are working in? What led to where you are right now?
I started almost more than 10 years ago, just playing around with Photoshop and graphics on my computer. This is like how I started with the graphic design, actually. I was working a lot with like music industry for the first bits. I was also a lot of into electronic music and to house music, for example. So I was researching a lot of social media, like how to expand my experience, or like how can I do more things with graphics, with Photoshop, with other plugins. And sometimes at some point I stumbled over approach. It's like a plugin for Photoshop, but it also introduced me to visual nodes or node-based coding. That's how I got into like procedural design, procedural art, just by using parametric parameters and randomizers to automate your process. Yeah. So that's how I found this working method.
Wonderful. And your particular style, what was it shaped by? What influenced it?
My most inspiration, I think, I take from nature, and I saw a lot from science, nature, sciences, or whatever, physics, chemics, biology, also the art world. I think I can take inspiration from everything if you just look like close enough. But like overall in my whole career, in my whole life, I think nature is the closest. I wanted to move my art into this kind of feel.
Interesting. Although the final output of your work is very futuristic, so is there like a blending or inspiration coming from nature, yet transformed into a very futuristic way, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it comes from the digital tools I work with. Because when I was a kid, I was drawing a lot, like just drawing gadgets and UI elements, just like to get stuff out you see from the TV or whatever. And I think this might be like a little inspiration as well, like I'm also into like sci-fi and speculative ideas. But I think the futuristic aspect maybe comes from the digital, maybe the cleanness of my work, because I'm very perfectionistic when it comes to like this movement of gradients or whatever the layout, the composition. Try to keep it clean and really ambient and universal and natural. And also
yes,
like kind of hyper-realistic. This is also a nice term to put it.
Yes, you can really feel that from your work. So would you mind telling a little bit about describing your creative process, like from start to finish, more or less? What does it entail when you're doing your personal projects? And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about how does it work when you work with clients.
I mean, both shifted like from when I started to now a lot, because when I started, I didn't really know. I started as a independent, so I was not in an agency, so I figured every step out myself. This might take a while, but yeah. Currently for like my personal projects, which now I have more freedom to do it, which is like great, to have like the personal work as my main work basically. So that's I feel very privileged to do this. But to do this personal work to get inspired. As I said, I can take inspiration from like everything I see, or just some things that inspire me, or for example, like natural phenomena, or something I wanted to see in the nature. Good example is called one project Osmosis. It's like the how we can explain it, like a little bit at least. It's like some kind of balance in biological cells, and I wanted to play with this kind of balance and symmetry from like the inside cell, but also like the thing around the cell. So I mirrored like the inside to the outside. And this is like really, sometimes if I try to explain it, it sounds complex, but it's really easy if you just look at it. I'm not the best with words as well, so excuse me here.
No worries.
But yeah, I try to recreate things I see in nature, and things that fascinate me, and things I didn't understand. I try to like solve them for me, to show the results, the happy accidents. So that's mostly what I put out. It's not always what I want to do beforehand, but sometimes it just comes out, and I feel like it's perfect, or it's nice to show.
Wonderful. So kind of the flow, the creative flow is an important part of your process, kind of just letting go with it, right? And seeing where it will take you. Yeah, and like enjoying it as well. Like people always ask me like, why are you doing this like this? And I'm like just having fun and just trying to put it out and satisfy my eye, and hopefully it does the same for other people too. Wonderful. And what about color? How do you work with that? Because your work is very colorful. Yeah, it's like one of my most key visual elements, I think. It's like the color. Almost all the clients come to me and say like they want the colors I'm working with, and I'm always surprised because I never work with like colors or like defined colors. I always try to get inspired and experimental with the methods I work with. So mostly the colors are coming from noise, from grain, from just random effects that I just zoom in and like go up. And then I just like skip through color variations, like thousands of them sometimes, and just pick the ones that I like. So it's really random at some point, but I also adjust to like commissions for example, if the client wants to have a certain color palette, that's also like a thing I have to like put into the workflow. And so when clients come to you, what are usually the briefs like? How much freedom do they give you in creating what you're working, and sort of how much do you have to adjust to maneuver the output? Different from project to project. But I figured it took me a while to learn that, but I figured out that the things you put onto your portfolio will be the things people ask for. So at some point, I just started to publish mostly my personal works and the work I want to do. And as this gets more and more like recognition, I was able to only do this or mostly do this. So yeah, that's how it basically works. I moved more than from a design perspective, where I really try to solve the problem that the client has, to more like an artist perspective, where I just create something I like, and people reach out to me to buy it or to license it for some usage. So this is like a slight shift. It happens in the last few years, but I'm still doing both. So sometimes I have to like adjust really close to the expectations. And sometimes clients come to me and say like, just play around with this topic or this. That's fun, of course. Wonderful. So it sounds most of it that clients come to you because they like your work that you put out, and that's kind of defining, right, your style. Yeah, as well. Like it has some influence. Wonderful. And you have a course on domestic and procedural type animation. Oh, what core lessons can students take away from it?
The course was made for After Effects mainly. So if you're a motion designer or what you wanted to get started with motion design or animation or with After Effects, I show some tools how to animate custom type or custom letters you create. I also show this in the course to work with Illustrator and create your own like display letters, not display fonts, but letters and letterings. And I show effects, like the multiple palette on effects, how to enhance them, how to animate them with procedural tools, so they look a little bit different from time to time. That was the idea.
Interesting. So what is creativity for you if we explore that topic?
Another one. Creativity is like a big word, and I studied in Dessau for quite a few years. And so we've been through this question like in my friends group, in my colleagues group. So that's a tough one. Creativity is for me like it's, I don't know, a lot. Maybe just the having fun with playing with ideas, even if it doesn't have a sense or a meaning yet, maybe. Just to have fun thinking. I think that's what creativity is for me. It also involves senses and whatever you can like feel or yeah. So it's a lot to put in one word.
Yeah,
for me.
yeah, it's true. And how do you nurture that within you? Is it mostly through a personal project, or do you do anything outside that is not related to your work that kind of feeds your inside engine, which you then channel into your work?
I think it's not. It never felt for me like there's one source of like inspiration I want to stick with. I always have like an eye on like much which is going on. I also love music, love like hip hop, rap, and the lyrics behind it. I also wrote like songs just for fun, like just to have fun with friends or like just a freestyle. So this is also creative things I love to do. And also when I was doing my thesis, I'm really lazy reader, so I'm not reading a lot of books. But I also like to write, and I think if you like practice things, you have a certain like passion or interest that sparks you on something. I think if you go into that, you can learn almost everything. And if you learn to have fun with something, I think that's even a better approach if you want to be better at something. So I think also if I have like do different things than my design work, which is like the most public ones, I also want to do like other stuff just to stay creative, to stay active.
Wonderful. That's a very good suggestion to kind of keep exploring and doing other things, right? To kind of work that muscle in different ways, right?
Yeah, not get stuck as well. I think most people get stuck if they just have the one thing on the table and it doesn't work. So what they're gonna do about it?
Yeah, that's a very good thing. And one of my questions was of how do you kind of get through these blocks that sometimes we experience, but I guess that's what you would answer, is kind of doing other things, right, that are not directly related to your work.
Yeah, I'm also like a kind of multitasker. Not always good at it, but I'm doing mostly like various projects at the same time. It's like also because the freelance projects are mostly like smaller projects, and they are very different from time to time. So this is like also, yeah, it's happening in my job, but I also try to use it in my free time to have like not just one thing to focus on.
Wonderful. So I would love to learn a little bit more about how do you see like digital art in Germany. Germany, of course, is such a big country and diverse country, and there's so much going on, right? But just from your own perspective, how do you see that? How is it evolving in your country, and within the global scene, sort of what place does that take in the international design or art world?
It's funny because when I started design, I didn't start with German culture or German whatever. I was a kid of the internet, so this is where I started my creative journey, if you can call it like this. So I never really got in touch with like digital art from Germany. I think it's not a big part of like the creative culture in Germany. I think there are other countries who are more prominent in like digital art. I think USA might be more, even they have more people, but it's more prominent there. And also, if I would not have studied here with not meeting my colleagues, I wouldn't have not met a lot of creatives in Germany or like artists in Germany. I'm from East Germany, so that's not the most dense population in Germany, and the most creative companies and centers are like more West Germany and Berlin. So just starting to get in touch with those networks right now, or like over the last few years. But yeah, it's not a big scene. I was getting inspiration from. It's more than more like if you're on social media and like Behance on Instagram. I don't really know where the people come from. I just see the stuff they create, and sometimes stuff get bigger. You see it in your real life or somewhere else. But I'm mostly surprised if I see like a German name there. It's like, oh, somebody I might know. So
yeah, interesting. So
small.
So local culture is not that influential then in your work, right? It's more the digital culture that shaped it. So what like as a creative, right? You're very successful, and I'm sure that you've done already a lot of great things for big clients. Is there any kind of work that you really stands out, a project that you're super proud of to date that you could share with us what it was?
Quite a few projects from year to year. Like every year there's like 2, 3 or some projects stuck to your mind or to your portfolio. But I think unfortunately like most some cases I'm really proud of I can't really talk about yet, at least. But a few years ago I did I think you can even see this one here.
Yeah.
A Formula 1 helmet I did for Landon Norris.
Wow.
Pretty, I can catch it. This is just like a small miniature version of it. But
great.
Like the logo enhancement and the texturing I did for Lando. It was pretty exciting because not just of the name and like Formula 1. I wasn't really into Formula 1, so I got surprised by how people react to this name. I felt a bit stupid there, but I was also working with the painter of the company and the agency behind them.
Wow.
That was really fun because this guy was also German, not far from here. So I visited him and get to know him, and he was also doing the helmets for Michael Schumacher and like the big racing guys, also from Germany, because he's from here, of course. So this was an interesting like area to dive in.
Wonderful! Like, congratulations! That sounds like a super project.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah. So what would be, do you have any kind of big dreams or for your personal work that you'd like to pursue, or something to try that you haven't tried yet? What's sort of on the dream list today?
Right now, it's like always, right now it's going better than I expected a few years ago. And if you would ask me like a few years ago where I would be right now, I would be happy with like, I don't know how it was 5 years ago, and now every year it's getting like slightly a little bit better. So I really can't complain. Some of my like milestones or wishes I had done or in the works for them. But I think one thing I really wanted to do is like an exhibition, to have like a real exhibition, like major city, would be like a big milestone for me. So yeah, I think that would be one thing to mention.
Yes, I can imagine your work being exhibited would be such a interesting space to visit. It's both in movement, right? Could be, and in static work. So yeah,
I did one for my thesis, master thesis, but it was like a smaller really small public exhibition. So, but it was fun to explore like the different mediums you can play with, like not just visual, also like interactive. You can do motion works, and I would love to like put this into one thing. I mean.
Wonderful. I really wish that for you. And how do you see generative art evolving in the mainstream design work, especially right now with AI's growing role? Because what you're creating is pretty specific, right? Do you see that it's kind of gonna evolve in terms of being used more by designers, or what's your view on that?
When I started doing my creative work, I had like mood boards all over, and the biggest one was generative art. And right now, it's generative art is in all my mood boards right now, because with the methods and the techniques, software, After Effects, mostly generative is used as a term for most AI results at the moment, but it's more than just the AI results. It's just like scalable image making. That's what it says. And I'm not using AI, but I love to do generative work. And I think the advanced like this, the automation you could put into it, and to do like a lot of results in a short amount of time, which are not curated, but they are a big quantity. And I think that's the biggest power of it. So people are looking for like big set of data or a big set of images. There might be a great use for generative art, but right now, what I can take from the commissions I get is there's no like every limit to it. Like, I couldn't imagine a limit. Like generative art, you could put every art into a generative context if I think it's possible though. So yeah, no limit.
Wonderful. And is there any particular like message that you want your art to convey moving forward, or is it usually comes just from this meditative way of working, like you say, where you just kind of get into it and let things come out, or you want to kind of also add or shape things based on a message? Like, how do you handle that?
Don't really have a message I want to put up every day, and I put it in those gradients, whatever. So it's more like a visual aspect and a visual fascination that I wanted to awaken in people. So it's not really a message, more like fascination. This might be a better term for it. But I also
visual stimulation. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, when I have something to say, I often think about how to put it in a creative context without making it cheesy, without making it too, bold, but not described by some way happy with it, and it also has a message. But I think that's the hardest way to make it. Might do it in the future, but it's hard to at least with the tools I work with, because it's very subtle, it's very ambient, it's very silent itself.
Yes, so, yes, it's very meditative in that way. Mm-hmm.
But it's not a bad impact. So it's not a bad impact.
Yeah, it's so meditative in nature, as if you could plug it into some kind of other story, that other, there would need to be an additional context of a story where it could like also add a very interesting touch. So,
it works in many contexts, and that's something I really make use of doing the various commissions.
Yes. So what is success for you in your creative life, in your creative career?
Success is, I would say, to be the boss of my own time. At least I feel this is like the most powerful thing to do it for your, not powerful, but I'm really happy to like be the boss of my own time. And even if I get paid really well by a corporate company and work full time there, I probably wouldn't be that happy than I'm right now, because I'm more flexible and more. Yeah, I think that's the biggest part, to be independent. That's for me.
Yeah, freedom, right? It's very liberating.
Yeah, it's a cliche answer for artists, but yeah.
But it's true. Yeah, it's universal, I think, as well.
Yeah.
So what would you recommend or advise a young digital artist starting out, right, in their career? What that would be your like top 3 pointers for them to take into account when creating the portfolio, getting out into the world and finding clients and everything that kind of those biggest monetizing, right, setting prices or things like that?
It's difficult because I only know what worked for me, and it's probably not going to work for everyone. If you're working with a very different style, it's probably very different what you have to do to be successful or to get commissions, to get jobs. I think what I did from the beginning on is put your stuff out there, like have a portfolio, have Instagram, whatever. Just be there, be visible somewhere. And often, like, students tell me they fear to put work outside or like online to publish their portfolio. They're really like excited or anxious sometimes, and there's really nothing to be like afraid of. The worst you can get is a bad comment, and I still recommend to focus on the good ones. But yeah, just be visible, take the chance to get feedback. So that's the first step you should take. Second one, I would document what you said, like in their question, to just put stuff online in your portfolio, what you want to do. Try to be like good at something, have fun with something, and if you really have fun with something and are experienced enough, I think people see that. And yeah, maybe the third thing I would say, you try to, or like often it happens, you copy, even if you don't know. I try to see as much stuff I can see, and like, as I said, I try to get inspiration from different areas, different channels. So you don't try to steal or like copy from one guy. You have like intuition of the trends, the styles, whatever you want to focus on. But yeah, stay on the state of art, or like have a look at the state of art, what you want to do. I think that's the 3 points I would look at.
Wonderful. That's great advice. Thank you so much. Well, that would be it from our side. Thank you so much, Martin, for sharing your experience. And it's really exciting to see like such original work that you are doing. So we look forward to seeing more and hopefully also see the exhibition that you'll create at some point. So we wish you all the best in further creating your work. And for all the listeners, you can check out Martin's work, and you'll find the links in the description. So have a look. He has a really interesting portfolio, and we hope it's going to be an inspiration for you as well. So thanks so much.
Thank you too for your time and your questions, and all the best.
All the best. Bye.